America, we come to save the motherfucking day. Yeah. America. Welcome to another edition of Happy Hour. This is episode 10 with the Lincoln List, where we discuss topics. We talk about the stock market and taste test a little whiskey. Today's topic will be, is the American dream dead? A little Team America World Police there for you at the intro, if you know what I'm talking about. So before we get into that, I have a special announcement I would like to make. We're going to be doing something special here in the next couple of weeks. It's called Mini Camp. It's a smaller version of our premier Champ Camp, which is a full, complete training course. But this one's going to specifically discuss the main two strategies that we use to make over $300,000 this year in trading profits. If you got a chance to see the blog post, I'll place the link right here talking about the 3 things that I changed to get me to that level this year. But it also discusses 2 of my main strategies, which is parabolic shorting and flush buying. That's going to be the main thing about this class. Going to come with a free DVD, free access to the trade room. The link is right here below. Just go to that, learn more about it. We'll move on. So we'll get down to the whiskey tasting first, because I'm going to get a little drink on before I get into my rant. And we have none other than the almighty Speyburn. I got to be honest, I don't even know what this is. I thought when I got it, it was going to be a Spey side because of the name, Speyburn. And it sounds terrible. It sounds like they're going to be drinking gasoline or something, Speyburn. But it's actually a Highland. I'll put the map up again. And some more popular whiskeys that come from there's like Oban, Ardmore. They have a light taste to these, but this is where most of the scotches come from. This is a very budget scotch, a lot like Finlaggan's, about $20-some for a 750 milliliter. I overpaid for this little guy right here because I paid like $5 for it, which is what I paid for the little small the Glenlivet 18 that I had. And that bottle's like $90, so I got kind of like snookered here on this one. So we'll give this a shot. I have no idea what to expect here. It's really, really light. A lot like the Peat Monster that we drank there before. If you can see, it's almost like water. Oh my. It smells a lot like I talked about this last week. It's like the alcohol, I like to smell this rich taste. I smell like, it almost smells like wine or beer. Like, you know, like when you get a cheap wine or a cheap beer or something. I don't know. I don't know what, it's just weird smell, but let's give it a sip. Let's give it a sip. Oh my God. Oh. Oh. Do yourself, you don't need you don't need that. I'm not a whiskey aficionado, but I can tell you, you don't need this. This shows that you have like when I like to think, maybe I'm lying to myself. I like to think that when you're drinking more expensive scotch, you're like pretentious. It's like, oh, look at me, I'm drinking expensive scotch. I'm not really trying to get drunk. I'm sophisticated. This just reminds me like a Thunderbird. Like if you're just drinking wine and you get MD 2020 or Thunder, you don't need this. Let me be the guinea pig for everyone out there. You do not need any Speyburn. I'm not even going to talk about Speyburn. But I am going to finish the glass because it's respectful. All right, let's talk about the American dream. Is the American dream dead or alive? Yes and no. I'm going to talk about no first because in truth, America is still the land of opportunity, more than any country. If you're an American or you live in America right now, regardless of your race, religion, your background, your beliefs, you still have a entitlement, I should say, to success. You still have an opportunity that probably doesn't exist in very many other countries. It might not be what it used to be when people came to America for a better life, but still, America is the land of opportunity. And yes, you can live the American dream. The no part, the yes part of this, being the American dream is dead, is that even though America is the place where, the sky's the limit, the way people think about the American dream, the way they have come to believe what is the American dream, that's what's messed up. If you saw a video I did a while ago, if I can remember, I'll post the link about the middle class being dead. And if you go to any business park in America, let me try to make my point. You go to any business park in America, it's going to be filled with compact cars, small SUVs, people punching a clock, working for a corporation, 9 to 5, collecting a salary or paycheck, working by the hour, and they're building someone else's dream. Someone else is getting rich off of their labor. Now, I've said before, I am not here to judge anyone. If that is the type of life that is comfortable for someone, they are completely content with that. I'm not judging. That's great if that's what you want. Unfortunately, I would go as far as to say that about 98% of all the people that are working at a factory, working at a business park, working at a corporation are not happy working there, which means all they are wage slaves. They're just working there so they can continue to buy the stuff that they own, pay their mortgage payments, send their kids to school, buy stuff at the mall, spend money throughout the Christmas holidays, or buy the new car, keep up with the Joneses or whatever. My point in all of this is that America is the land of opportunity. And almost every person that's working in these places have a dream. You have something that you want to do besides work 9 to 5. I would almost guarantee that everybody has that. You want to invent something, create something, build something, do something. And that's what America is for, because when we look at our life, I've always said that, being successful isn't always about money. People think that's what it is. Like they put a Mark Cuban on TV, or a billionaire, Buffett, who Gates, the rest of these people. And that's what everybody says, oh, they're billionaires. That's success. No, success is being fulfilled, living a fulfilled life. And living a fulfilled life is doing something that you want to do. So when I started out with stock trading, I've often told my story. I'm not going to go into that here. But it wasn't always about the money for me. What it was my wealth right now isn't what's showing in my bank account. My true wealth, or what I consider my wealth, is my freedom, is my ability to get up whenever I want. I go trade my stocks. Sure, I'm routine about it, but I can take a day off if I want. I can take a month off if I want. I can go anywhere in the world at any time. I don't have a boss. I don't have an agenda I need to follow. I don't have any of that. I answer to no one but myself. I would have done that for break even, just so I didn't have to listen to a boss tell me what the hell I need to do with my life, drive through traffic. So to me, the money is it's a bonus, That's how I look at it. That's my freedom. My point in all of this is I'm sure you have something like that. And you're going to have a choice. And I understand the downfall of that. It's scary. People are going to tell you you're going to fail. Whatever your idea is, it sucks. But you don't know. You got to try. You've got to go out there and do it. Yes, it will be tough. Yes, it will be difficult. But if you want a piece of that American dream, you want a piece of that pie, you want more than just to work 40 years for a company or different companies, be a wage slave, listen to everyone else's crap, put up with coworkers that you don't want to so you can collect the measly Social Security. If you want to do that, that's great. If you don't, you're going to have to take the risk. You're going to have to go out and you're going to have to do it. And there's no better place to do it than in America. I mean, this is the land of opportunity. So if you live here, and I'm sure some of you might live in countries that have opportunity as well, you need to take advantage of that because not everyone is so fortunate. But remember that wealth isn't just about money. It's about fulfillment. And that's what you want to live. You want to live a fulfilled life. And that's my rant. I mean, that's it. So the American dream, it's not dead. The problem is the American people. The way the Americans view success is all messed up. And we got to change that. We got to go out and get the things that we want. We got to be free. And freedom, I hate to tell you, but freedom isn't, working for someone else, giving up 25, 30% of your paycheck to taxes. That's not freedom, I said wage slave. That's what you are, a wage slave. Poor Speyburn can't handle this rant. So anyway, let's move on. I've done enough. I want to say that starting out this week, I was a little bit in a cranky mood. I got somewhere during the course of the week. I went rogue. I went rogue trading, which I was just over trading. I was just so anxious. Every once in a while I get in these points where I just get anxious for no reason. I don't have anything to be anxious over. But I got a little bit anxious. And The week was pretty good, about 3,300 bucks in gains, but it was just messy. I should have been well over 7,000, but that's the way it goes. I'll correct that, but it's like every once in a while we go through these things. I'm not afraid to admit it or ashamed to admit it. This is how you just, it's a day by day thing. Sometimes you do these things as traders. But we're going to take a look at some stocks here as we look at the market. So right now, I think we're just sort of in a digestion period here with the market. We've seen such a huge run up. And if you match to the Brexit move, which we talked about post-election, looks a lot like the Brexit move back there in June. You know, the market went up like straight 10 days, and then it spent, you know, a better part of a month just kind of consolidating. And actually longer than that. It had a little small bounce, but it, you know, through all the way up until about the very beginning of September, it kind of just pretty much traded sideways in a very tight range. I think that's where we might be now that we've made new highs. We might be stuck around this 220 for a little while. I don't think you're going to see any, maybe just a touch selling as we approach the interest rates. That will be the new topic. You got the interest rate possibility of an increase here in December. And then, of course, you're going to have this, I'm sure they'll make a big deal out of the inauguration. So you're going to have the inauguration coming up in January. We'll see how that works out. I don't think you're going to see some deep selling in this market until you break the 20 moving average, which would be like 218 flat. Maybe if you get down to 218, then you can start to see maybe a little bit of a drift. But we'll just play it by ear. Now, there are still some stocks that, you know, we kind of talked about some of them last week, and they got a nice pullback, but some of these here are really up a lot. Like URI, massive move on this from 70 to 104. That's big for this stock. Like you look back in there, it hasn't really had this kind of steep grade into it. I'm kind of looking to short it. I would like, of course, a parabolic, like a good strong gap up to kind of go into it. But after you've run for a couple of days, you usually don't see the gap up. It starts out even or slightly in the red and then starts ripping. But I'm still interested in shorting this. I don't really have a number, but if it would go to 106, 107, I'd be tempted to start shorting into this thing, because I think if you just come back and you touch the moving average of 97, the 10 moving average I'm talking about, that's a pretty good trade in itself. So this thing's up quite a bit, and you know, definitely on a short radar here if it can set up intraday as well. Also, you know, a lot of these little, really, I mean, look at this thing. Really, since the election right here, a couple days after actually, 33 to 41. That's big for this stock. That's a pretty big move, like nice and steep. So I'd like to see this one here. Again, just kind of like the same thing with URI. If you could get a good gap up, a strong pop, or something like that, it would make for a really, really nice short. Just like that, once they run for a couple of days, it's tough to get them to kind of just gap up after that. They just sort of grind out, which completely changes the complexity of them. But because it's up a lot, I'm looking for maybe some breakdown areas, a couple of breaks of support. Also, NEF, not a bad looking stock right here. This one might be a little too thin for me to trade. You know, again, big. This one's up a lot, 8 to 15. So almost 100% move on this stock. It has two disadvantages. I don't like low float stocks, and I don't like cheap stocks that well, only because I don't trade them that well. That's the only reason why I don't like them. There's nothing against anybody who's mastered that art. Bless you if you have. I have not. I know where my place is, which is $30 to $60 stocks going vertical. But I'll watch it. You know, maybe it's a good swing play rather than something that's for a day trade. Now, one that I'm really, really interested in, and the last one I want to look at is Tillis. I already have some Tillis here short, and a bit surprised by the strength. Not overly surprised, but, well, no, I am a little bit, because this thing is up like a biotech stock coming out of phase 3 or something. I just took another little sip there. TLYS, I mean, it's retail. I get it. They had good earnings, but this thing's up about 40 plus percent, 45% or so in just 2 days with virtually nothing. I mean, you go back to the start of the run. If you draw a trend line, this thing has not broken trend for 2 days. One of the more stronger, consistent, grind out stocks. This is something that we're going to discuss in the mini camp, which is about shorting, because I've always said, you know, it's not about how much a stock, you know, goes up. Just because the stock is up a lot doesn't warrant a short, you know. What warrants a short is how fast the stock goes up. You know, the percent gain along with the speed. This is starting to turn into a grind, which could go a little bit higher, and I don't like when stocks get into a grind. I do have a position here. I'm a little bit underwater on it, but hopefully we start to see something kind of come around on Monday. We'll pay attention, but this thing is up a lot, and eventually reality should set in on this. TLYS. So keep this one here on your radar. So when we look back, we have URI, COLR, NEFF, and TLYS. Those are the stocks there I'm going to be looking at. Well, I want to thank everybody for just listening to the rant. You know, seeing me sample a little of the Speyburn. Just a recap. We don't need this. I mean, you don't need this. There's other options in your life besides this. We talked about the American dream. Is it alive or is it dead? And don't forget minicamp. Minicamp is going to be a great way for people just to kind of get started and get some information about the strategies that we use. But in closing, remember that this life is what you make of it. And wealth is living fulfilled. It's not about money. You see millionaires kill themselves a lot. You know, it's about you. Life is always about you, your dreams, and the things that you want. And there's going to come a time in every person's life where they're faced with a decision. They're going to have a decision to pursue that opportunity or go with the line of safety. And unfortunately, too many times we choose that line of safety because we're afraid. Well, you can't get what you want in life. You look at any successful person, you say, I want to be like that professional athlete. I want to be like that business person. I wish I could have created something that's special. I wish I could do that. Well, those people had to take the risk. Those people were scared too. I was scared too when I went out on my own and I worked for straight commission. I was scared when I was a trader, you know, starting out. I was scared to rely on this as an income. That's natural. And being scared means you are alive. But remember, in order for you to get something, you have to live through that. But the most important thing in life is to be fulfilled. It's not to be a wage slave. It's not to sit here and make someone else rich. It's for you to live your dreams and for you to do what you want in life. So anyway, that's all I have. As always, if you guys need some help, feel free to visit thelincolnlist.com, take a free trial to our live trade room until the next happy hour. I don't have any more left in my glass. Oh, I do have a little bit. Cheers to everyone. Talk to you soon.